It's a grizzly.
Should we get out of here?
No. We're gonna watch and listen.
Well, hello there, everybody. Welcome, Penny Van, Gary Spikes, Standing Stones, Gene Hudson. Welcome, everybody. How you doing there, Tracy?
I'm doing good. Hey, welcome, everyone. How you doing, Grizz? How you doing tonight?
Oh, doing good. Cannot complain. So tonight, we have a reoccurring person that's coming back to make another appearance. The one and only Nat Nat. Welcome, Nat Nat.
Hi.
So introduce yourself and tell everybody what you do and who you are and all about yourself.
I am Nat, and what I love to do is paranormal investigations, but I am an intuitive medium, and what I really like to do is help people understand their gifts and release and remove blockages that they could have from either their current lifetime or past lifetime, things that could really just be affecting like your current life now. And I also have a real passion for children with gifts too, like my son, and helping parents kind of help them understand what's going on and kind of learn how to teach them as well, especially if they're not as in tune.
So what got you into this phenomenon?
Well, the home I grew up in Florida had a lot of shadows. And I also had an attachment pretty much on about a year ago now. And I blocked it all out. Moved from Florida to Appalachia, and there's everything everywhere. And it's overwhelming. And my son is very in tune and can see very vividly. So I was kind of like, well, I'm not going to tell him it's not real, but how am I supposed to help him understand if I don't?
Right.
So it's kind of what started this whole rabbit hole.
So I see you a lot out there on social media doing your own investigations. That's how we met, isn't that true?
Yeah.
So take us through some of those investigations that you do and what you do and how you investigate.
So the majority of them have been in my own home because there's a lot going on There's a funeral home. There's a Catholic church, and it has its own little graveyard. There's a big cemetery up the mountain right behind me over here. And besides that, it's very, very native land. I get a lot of skinwalker activity and other activities. So I kind of started like delving into that because it's fascinating to me, the lore on how it seems like there's different ways they came about. Just asking certain questions, and it's like confirming things that I felt and I like swore like I saw or I sensed.
Right.
And they're like confirming it because it's just out of nowhere. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, okay, maybe I'm not entirely crazy, because this tends to make one think that a bit, because it's a lot mental. It's just a lot going on in your head. And that's kind of, I feel the key is trying to decipher all of that. And so we sit in my home and we get used to the familiars, and we get used to those that come and go. There's quite a few that like to come and go a lot. Some are nice, some aren't. And then there's others that just like show up, and then they just like move on the next second pretty much. I've done a few outside, and I've done a couple at this local cemetery where my fiance has some family at. And every time I go do something outside, I get skinwalker activity. So it's like I can't escape it. It's all around. I just understood. And I have that show up in the urging to feel the same. So we also question a lot. We sometimes get down rabbit holes. We'll pull cards every once in a while, but not too much. It's not my favorite thing to do on at least my live.
Right.
So that's pretty much
Graveyard.
Mm-hmm.
So you think those all?
I mean, home and me a little bit octagonal for all the energy possible energies right going up. And so, and I called for, and she came in. Like just completely changed. She's like, oh, hey, I haven't seen you in forever. And I'm like, what is going on, right? Well, she shows up a few times during my investigations. One time when I was going live right before it started, the basement door opened. I kept seeing her peek over this window, who does parade, and she kind of, and the maid, a lot of things point to like her uncle doing it. And so I'm doing a live last week. Here, I and home never felt it felt I had a rod, and we start asking questions. Or in my house, I have to ask her questions. Blew her mind. So, like, I'm gonna go play. Also,
Palmer as a helper. And
I
she
can believe that.
claims that he is in heaven trying to help out in this world. So people do come back. Eric is asking, you think you're in the spirit?
That you can pretty much decently communicate with them just with yourself. Ooh. And so and people were like, hey, someone's investigating talk. It's like story about. I mean, sometimes to tease that is crazy. I'm throwing like
Surrounded by what you believe is a lot of activity there. In between those, did you notice, kind of building up to where when you finally got to this place, it all accumulated, or have you had much experience at different places in between those two?
when I think back on it now, when I started to learn about people that are more in tune with the spiritual side, I have to actually like sit, like even now, like and go back and think of how the past felt when I would go to certain places. Because when I wasn't aware, back was sensitive to things like that. And I started then able to mindfully up here recognize, all right, is this like my anxiety and intuition telling me something? Or is this like anxiety because of someone else or something around? And when I think back on when I would even travel up here for vacation as a child, up here just, it was beautiful and it called to me, but it feels heavier. And I couldn't explain it before, but like when I was more aware of it, it's a heavy feeling. And I'm not far away from Deep Creek Lake around Oakland, Maryland. And it's a huge man-made lake. And all around this area are coal mines. And there have been plenty of collapses, fires. Like when I say the energy is heavy, it's heavy for multiple reasons, not just because it's native land and horrible things happen to the people.
A lot of history.
It's a lot of other things, and not to say also when you think of Virginia City, Nevada, a lot of mining accidents.
Yeah.
And it's heavily protected land. It's a curse. Like you're trying to mine the natives, their land, their minerals. You're not going to think bad things are going to happen, and they repeat themselves over and over again, especially around here. And back then, like when they were very active, it was like way too many times compared to other places that would be mining. And it's just like after so many coincidences, doesn't it become more of a pattern than just something that it was by chance?
Yeah.
So then, like, got to think of it like that too. When you think of places that have similar experiences on similar types of land, doing similar types of things. So yeah, just heavy.
What kind of activity do you have where you're living now? Let's talk about some of that. That's very interesting.
So the activity around here isn't too malicious. They seem to be kind of okay because of how small it is. And I know that sounds weird, but when I'm thinking back to what I've had worse experiences with being up here, it's been nothing native to around here. It's been the attachment that I had, like before it was removed, and we identified who it was, because it was a very ancient deity. So it had a lot of hold. So it was like it had to get specific, kind of like if you know the demon's name or the full-on skinwalker's true native name, you have more of a control over them, or at least says lore. But it's been things sent through spiritual warfare that have been the craziest for me. And then close to it would be just when certain more malevolent human spirits show up that just kind of want to be intimidating, this, that, and the other. But anytime I've actually been harmed, like I've been scratched, twice has been outside, where I'm randomly just scratched on the face, scratched up on the leg or the arm, and I start breaking out in hives, because when I do get touched by an entity, I break out in hives. And so it's real fun when the skinwalkers want to be funny and, like, you know, because often I'll be like, be breaking out in a hive. I'm like, okay, who touched me? Because it's very itchy now, and just randomly in one spot. But it's just been different entities, like the one that I was talking to you about, Grizzly, with Jennifer, that last podcast, where I was just braiding my hair, and like I knew an entity had showed up around like 3:30 in the morning, and I had taken care of it, and it was warned, like, don't come back, like, do not come back, like, divine law, do not come back, do not test for that. And within like 13, 14 hours later, I'm braiding my hair in the bathroom, and I finish it, and next thing I know, there's just this huge scratch across my face, like my forehead. It was like immediately itchy, and it obviously wasn't a cat. Okay, it wasn't one of my cats either. Like, I was braiding my hair, and then all of a sudden it was there, and I had to like ask about what, you know, was going on or whatever, like make sure I understood. And the thing got sent away, and whatever happened. But what's around here just is more, it seems, all misunderstood. I mean, you're going to have your jerks here and there, right, that are still as a spirit, whether it's, I feel like, an imprint, kind of like someone on repeat, living something out over and over again, or it's more of like a conscious spirit. Not many are, like I said, like malevolent or malicious. So I just get different people. I also refer to them as people when I'm talking about like ghosts, the human souls that have passed on. Sometimes they just want to talk. So I pretty much just sense that when I'm doing it, and it's just, some of them feel relief. Some of them, it gets real sad. Not to like trigger anyone, so I won't go into detail about a certain incident, but there was a spirit just that felt very, very alone. And I was trying to help them, and they were even like, I'm reaching out. I was like, I know you are. I'm trying to help you. And it was like, it was more of them when they were still living. They reached out, they asked for the help, and whether it was no one believed them or no one took it, you know what I mean, actual, like, seriously, like it was as bad as they were feeling. And so, you know, if you can kind of understand where that's going, but
right, absolutely.
It's and it's sad. The energy is heavy. It's just sad, and it's not heavy like negative and dark. Just a lot of grief.
How many apparitions or spirits have you all seen?
So I have only seen a shadow move the way it shouldn't twice. I've seen a white mist once. I'm going to bring up certain orbs because I have seen a few different color orbs for different ones of my guides, like with my naked eye, like seeing them.
Right.
And I've seen a reflection of the little boy spirit. in my mirror, but that's about it. I've blocked a lot out. But if
And
you
your
ask
fiance seen the
I
same
was going to
thing?
say, oh, if you ask him, that man did not block out his medium gift. He sees just as vividly as Elias does. So they've all seen the man that Jennifer picked up on a few podcasts ago. She had asked about. And same thing with my stepdaughter. She has seen him, but that's the only one we're aware of she has seen. So my fiance has seen him, and he has seen the little boy. He has seen Savannah. She's a Native American spirit that got to thrive and live on the land before any colonizers came over. Like, she passed on like way, way before that. So she likes him, and he only ever sees her in the bathroom, and she'll touch him too while he's like in the shower, and he's like, stop, please. And like, I think it's kind of funny, because when we moved into the house, or more when I was coming aware of the different spirits at that time, at the age she had passed, she only lived to be 22, but at the age she passed, my fiance at the time was that age. So it was like really funny to me that she was like, hey. But my son has seen the little boy a lot, Damien. In his room, he has seen him coming out of the attic door, and he has vividly told me he can see Damien better when the back door to the back porch, when it's shut, if it's during the day, because then the sun isn't shining through and making it hard to see him.
Interesting.
That's when I really knew, like, nah, like, besides, he didn't like come to me like because I was talking about it ever. Like, he started coming to me about this little boy he was seeing when he started to feel more comfortable, thinking maybe I should tell her type stuff. And again, he has seen that man when my stepdaughter did. I was in the kitchen, and all of a sudden the kids start screaming, and they were like, Daddy's home. And I was like, Daddy's not home. They said, he walked towards you. There was no one there. They watched a man. I mean, okay, we do have a mimic, but like they said, it like looked like him, but it didn't. Like, I know it was an actual, like that actual man, okay, because like they saw like all of him. You know, it wasn't like hiding its face or whatever, like how they do. That's how I know it's not that, but we do have one of those. But walked from like where I'm sitting down below, it's where the front door is. So basically from here all the way, basically then to the back of the house. Watched him walk through that doorway, walk past them, and walk towards me through the other doorway into the kitchen where I was.
Wow.
Yeah, I was kind of jealous because he came to the kitchen, but I didn't see him. And I was in there, and he just walked in there. So I was like, aw.
Brian Barber's asking you, when Nat connects, does she notice a difference in energy on how they pass? Like when somebody takes their life or by accidental?
Not yet. Now, everyone has different like levels, right, of abilities of their gifts. Like if you're going to put it in superhero terms, right?
Right.
Everyone is super, but still in their own different way. And some people might have very closeness and a likeness with their powers, but they're still them. So there's still no duplicate of what they can do. Which why, for one, I think like your podcast and stuff, it really helps people understand like they're not alone and there's like people out there.
Right.
Right. And it might help them want to tune in more because again, with my lives, I practice. So I don't sense really how they pass. I can just sense their energy, like how they're feeling. So whether it's sad, angry, that's what I've been really getting used to. And then when I use my Spirit Talker app and certain things come across, that's then when I can kind of tap in a little bit more, because I'm also learning how to keep my like guard up, right? My walls up, but still let them down enough to where I can sense my guides. So that's where we've gotten since August of when I started going live. And now we're at the point of letting them down to be able to sense the energies of what's coming through.
Right.
And there'll be certain ones where it's like my guides are like, this one is safe. They do need like your attention, like to address them. And then I can start to sense, or I more get shown of certain things.
Care Bear asked you. Oh, I'm sorry. Care Bear asked you.
Yeah.
About your paranormal experiences in mirrors. What's your take about mirrors?
So, if anyone has seen the movie The Unborn, that's what put up that final block for me when I was in high school. Okay? Terrified. No. And this house has an old like mirror medicine cabinet like that too. So like I am conquering fears in this home right now with that, because they are scary. They're scary. Like I said, I got scratched braiding my hair in one because one wanted to try my life just because our energies crossed. All because I was watching a paranormal investigation, so it thought it could show up and be mean. Like, excuse me? And like spiritual warfare can happen just like that. And a lot of people aren't aware of like spiritual warfare just isn't people sending, negative thoughts your way and sending things at you. It can just be when you're passing energy somehow and they like match with your energy. And oh man, I just lost my train of thought.
Care Bear says definitely not watching that movie.
Oh yeah, thank you. I watched that pop up and then I was like, oh no. But yeah, and she was also pregnant. So then when I became pregnant, that was like the final, like now we're locking it shut. Okay, all abilities locked out. And when I bought this home, it was already furnished because it was going to be turned into an Airbnb. So there's a lot of old thrifted mirrors in this home. And to overcome my fear, I will go up into my attic especially when I'm on live, so I can have people watching, and they'll tell me if they see anything, and I'll sit like, so the camera will be at my back and I'll be facing into the mirror and I'll be looking to see if I see anything, if they want to show me anything. But the creepiest part to me is when the EMF reader is up against the mirror, and how times it'll go off nonstop and other times it won't. So it's like, know something is there messing with it. And I just mirror magic and just like scrying and things like that. It fascinates me, but it terrifies me.
Mike says, need a sweetgrass braid over the mirror. It blocks evil spirits. I never heard that. Have you, Tracy?
No, I definitely have not heard that. A sweetgrass braid over the mirror.
Yes.
That is so cool, because I only know ways to either temporarily or permanently, because sometimes it has to be renter friendly, how to close out a portal in a mirror. But if you're wanting to use a mirror for scrying and other things, I was like, how do you do that? So I appreciate you for that.
Yeah, I did not know that. I learned
like,
something
I
new tonight.
appreciate that.
Yeah, definitely.
Huh.
Interesting.
When you first came on, you said something, or not said, you said about an attachment you had for a long time.
Yeah.
Would you mind speaking about that?
Yeah. I mean, in the end, I had 5 attachments. 4 of them were actually guides, but because of like where I was at anyway. So technically, when I did like my cleanse from the attachments, only one of them was like a true attachment, and that one's been around since I'm pretty much just been a guest since birth, especially with what I've been shown. I'm adopted, and when I have done certain shamanic journeys with my one shaman, one of them was going back to like a point in time in your life. And somehow, for some reason, I was thrown back into the womb of my biological mother. And there's lights turning on right now, and this light just shut off. When that happens, I haven't pinpointed who it is, but it actually coincides with this story. I was put up adoption for a reason, for protection.
Damn it.
And it's decently powerful. I don't know, group, just one person, that they keep sending certain entities after me. The attachment was Osiris. And he was mean for quite a while. When I detached him and they started sending him back, he stopped playing their games. And like this one that just now showed up, it doesn't play the game. It tells me it's here by turning off the light in the front, or if I'm out back, it shuts off the light in the back. And this has only been happening for the past like 2 weeks.
Oh, wow.
And it doesn't stay. It literally shows up, lets me know someone was trying to be a jerk, and they go right back and they say her wards and protections are too high. I can't get in. And the other night they got mad. They sent it twice. They got mad. Next thing you know, my son's sitting in here with me, and we hear a whistle. And I can't whistle at all, so I can't even try to even duplicate the types, because there's a lot of different types of whistles. I know you're like, what do you mean? What does it sound like? Sound-wise, I'll attempt. It was weird. It was like, woo, 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 or something weird. And it was weird, and it wasn't a skinwalker whistle. I knew it wasn't either of them, and they don't even whistle anyway to get my attention. And then it wasn't that like calmer, nice, older gentleman who was one of the owners of this house previously, because I know his whistle, because he would use it to wake me up when I first moved in. If I was sleeping past 9:30 in the morning, he'd be like, ma'am, you need to wake up. Like, like it was different. And same thing. Same person was sending it. The light just went out again. Same person is sending it, or a different one that sent it. It's on the same page as the other ones now. Whistled, so I knew it was there, and it left. So when I first moved up here, because this has to do with the attachment, I was like, okay, it's fine. You know, I didn't think I had an attachment. None of that was ever even like in my vocabulary, in my mind, nothing, right? And I'm sleeping, and all of a sudden, like, I'm in a dream, but it didn't feel like a dream, but it was a dream. But I woke up in my dream, which is never good. When you're dreaming, you wake up in the bed that you're laying in, because it's almost like, are you astral projecting now? But not, because like I wasn't seeing myself in like third party, basically. So I don't know if when those happen, if those are a form of astral projection, or just like, you know what I mean, just very real. So
Right.
in that dream, my one brother ran to me and said, there's something in the bathroom. So I run to the bathroom. There's nothing there. I lay back down in the dream. Next thing I know, there's this big, tall shadow at the foot of the bed saying, I found you. And it woke me up from the dream, and it woke me up so fast I started seizing and having a sleep paralysis moment. And my sister's asleep. She's not waking up because I was in her room temporarily till we got stuff situated when I had to leave Florida. And that was the first actual experience that happened. It happened a lot, kept happening. Finally, I started getting stronger than it. And I would be able to sit up while I'm like seizing. I'm able to sit up, and I started to be able to say, in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, leave. And it immediately stopped. We moved over here. Nothing was happening. Next thing I know, the sleep paralysis, all that started happening again. And sleep paralysis is really supposed to happen when you're on your back. For what? Like the majority of the people, or almost practically everyone you ask,
Right.
you're on your back. So it got to the point where he was getting mad. I was able to send him away while it was happening, that he would come back up and I would have to do it 3 times. 3 separate times. Then he started getting so mad that I would be asleep. I could be asleep on my side. I'll cuddle up like this, hugging myself. Start to get sleep paralysis. He started doing it when I was laying on my side, laying on my stomach. I would feel the bed move. Like the bed would be, you know how like when someone walks up to you when you're like on the couch or a bed and you can feel their legs hit the sides of it? That's what it was feeling like. So I know it's not any of my cats. Everyone else is asleep next to me. It also happened during naps during the day too. When clearly I can see, it's bright out. I open my eyes, no one's there, but I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. Different parts of the bed. The naps, I would be in the bed by myself, so they'd come to the side of the bed instead of the foot of the bed. I would feel him step on the bed. I would feel my hair, like I'm laying down and my hair would start to just get moved ever so slightly. I would feel softness on my face. He was getting really bold towards the end. He didn't really scratch me though. That's so weird.
So Denise is asking a question, and I'm going to add to it. She says, Nat, do you have any guests that see or hear them? And also, do you have other activity like footsteps, objects being moved, noises, anything like that?
Help me stay on track with all of these, please, okay? Because the ADHD is strong in this one. So, what was the first part of the question?
Have your guests have any interactions or seen anything or heard anything?
Yes. I've had a few friends come over where I've even had them hold the dowsing rod because they want to experience it for themselves. They freak out because they think you're faking it. Even my fiance, he thought I was faking it. And then he starts holding it and it starts moving. He's like, that's not me, because you can feel it.
Yes,
like with a pendulum, like you can feel the difference, right? So I've had a few people be bold and want to do that. I've had a few more bolder people do actual investigations with me in the home, like with just a spirit talker on. I've had ones actually go live with me. The best one though is my youngest sister. She loves certain paranormal investigators that I also like enjoy to watch, right? And yet she would tell me like I was either like faking it or like she truly believed everything we all are producing and experiencing is fake. She was one of those people that truly thought it was just entertainment and we're just that creative. Like, so she came over, playing with the kids. I go downstairs to, I think it was to get dinner started because of like what time it was. My stepdaughter's downstairs. then like all of a sudden I hear my younger sister. I hear that now she's in the living room. Then all of a sudden she starts like calling for me. So my stepdaughter runs into the kitchen and is like, "Mommy, she wants you." So I walk out of the kitchen. My sister looks at me and goes, "When did you get down here?" I said, "I've been down here the entire time. I left you upstairs. Like you came downstairs after me." She was like, "No." "Did you go down the back stairs?" I said, "No, because I don't like opening that door, the creepy door to the kitchen." I said, "No." "Why?" And she's looking at me. And mind you, I was listening to a class on this phone. And like I had to run downstairs. So I left it running because it was charging. It was gonna like die. And she goes, "But I saw you in your office watching your class." Like basically as I'm sitting now, she said she saw me, that I'm not here. But she said she saw me, but I'm downstairs. And I was like, "I've been down here the whole time." She goes, "But I saw your legs." I said, "That's cool." But I've been down here this whole time. And she goes, and I said, "I thought you didn't believe in ghosts." She goes, "No, I do now. I've never seen someone so fast be so convinced." But I mean, I guess it's when you swore you saw your big sister upstairs that she was not there. And like I guess it was a pretty solid whatever it was. Because she started freaking out and she said, "But I saw your legs." Like, so she saw the entirety of me when this door was like open, apparently.
Wow.
So that's happened. And then what were the other questions?
About noises and footsteps in the house?
Okay. So recently we started hearing my dog on this wood floor, but he's laying down. Like it's not him. And now we had a little dog pass, but I know the sound of what his little tiny paws, because he's a little tiny, he's a little like Shih Tzu. And
I hit a button.
I know what you're talking about. I hit a button.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
We rescued them. So I don't fully remember what he was, right? But I know the different sounding. Like, so it literally sounded like our dog. So we were like, okay. And yeah, we've heard some footsteps. But what's creepy, it's not creepy, it's cool, but it's creepy too when you think about it. When I first started investigating, I was using a different app. It was like a free app. You could buy a version of it. I still use it. It doesn't say the words out loud. So for like when I go live, I don't like to use it because it won't say it. So I don't want to miss a word, so I use that app. But I was talking to Savannah, and she was saying how she was scared, and my fiance had just walked upstairs, and like she was like saying she was nervous and stuff and all that, and he went back downstairs, and then I forget exactly what happened, but for some reason I stood up and I was right here, and something along the lines came like walk or footsteps or something, and I feel and hear the wood floor in front of me, beneath me, creaking. So I didn't hear footsteps, but I heard the entirety of the floor moving as they walked from the base of the steps into my bedroom, because then you could hear it creaking in the room too, where certain boards creak. And the dog's just standing in front of me, and there are no cats moving. There was nothing there. So that's only happened a few times here, but up in the attic, depending on the activity, depending who's around, I'll get absolutely no noises, or I'm up there and you hear things creaking around, walking around me all the time, you'll hear taps. There's been times where I was on a live, it was like tap, tap, and immediately like over in the corner behind me, it tapped. The most recent creepy actual time, I was doing a session and I heard this like loud noise in the hallway of my attic. Because mind you, my attic is huge. It shouldn't even be considered an attic. I technically live in like a 3-4 story house.
Right.
Because like the attic, you can live in like, it's as tall as these ceilings. Like all of the ceilings are like 10 feet tall. Like even the attic ones. So the hallway is making noises. And I'm like, oh, who's over there? Do you want to come in here? And it was just stranger. Stranger. I kept getting stranger. I kept getting like things of like, this person is not welcome. And every time anything would insinuate like they were like referring to whatever it was, there'd be a noise in that hallway.
Wow.
And I'm like, this is so cool, but unsettling because you keep saying stranger.
Wow.
Nothing else.
So they're
yeah.
asking how much is the app? Was it like $4.95 or $3.95?
When I bought it, it was either like $2.99 or $3.99.
Yeah, it's not much, but we know the guy, FDL Paranormal in UK knows the guy that actually made the app. So it's a very reputable app. The only thing is you have to have your phone in airplane mode to be accurate.
Correct. And in mine, this is always in airplane mode, unless like for some reason I'm using it for like a class or say like my phone is like charging in the room. Sometimes for your podcast, I'll hop on here like when I'm just like listening and chatting. Like I hop on this phone. So this phone, it's always on airplane mode when I'm doing investigations. And then this phone is always on do not disturb. So nothing is also emitting frequencies coming through, especially with the EMF reader. And what's weird is sometimes like the EMF reader will be like this and it's off. And sometimes I'll be doing this and it's completely dead. But every time, all I know is my phone is on do not disturb. So there's multiple investigations where I'm like, guys, what is going on today? This is part of what we do, people, because there'll be like new people in, right? And I'll be like, we want to know if it's truly paranormal or what can set things off.
Right.
I'm not ashamed to say, oh, I don't think that was something. Just because I live in a haunted house, it's not always going to be something paranormal. It can be the house, it can be the animal, it can be whatever. So I'm also about completely trying to debunk stuff like as it's happening if I can, if I'm really like feeling like I don't believe it was something paranormal.
Right.
Just because it's like, that probably wasn't. Usually I have my feelings as I've been doing it a lot longer are definitely getting a lot easier on knowing like, was it just something around the house or was it actually something? Or like, is it electrical for some weird reason? Or is it not? Same thing like in my basement. Sometimes where I'm standing in this certain area, this will be going off. And I go closer to the wires, it shuts off. So it's like right around me. But then sometimes I'll be in the same area and it's not doing anything. So I'm like, guys, are we remembering how many times it's been doing this? Like besides just me, because is anyone else blown away by this right now? If you remember?
Yeah.
It's like, this is crazy.
Yeah, so, Standing Stones, it's only a one-time fee. It's not a yearly fee. It's just a one shot. And I highly recommend it. And Natalie, thank you for coming on. And how does everybody find you and follow you?
So the easiest way to find me is the Radical Raven 14. Typing that in should bring up, like on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, it should bring me up. And then if you want to follow my personal account, it's like for Instagram, it's linked in my business Instagram. But if you're interested in just this stuff, Don't worry about that one. Just the Radical Raven 14, and you'll find all of my paranormal and like spiritual related content.
Awesome. What do you think, Tracy?
No, great interview. Thank you for explaining a lot of the things that you did.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And thanks for short notice from jumping on. It's always a pleasure
I
having you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And we'll see everybody at 9 o'clock tonight for other edition from coast to coast around the world. Good night, everybody. See you in a couple hours. Take care.
It's a grizzly.
Should we get out of here?
No. We're gonna watch and listen.
Action.
It's a grizzly.
Oh, shit, should we run?
No.
Action.
It's a grizzly.
Oh, shit, should we run?
Okay. It's a grizzly.
Are you sure it's not a chipmunk? Action. I'm out of here. Action.
It's a grizzly.
I'm out of here.
Huh. Maybe it is a chipmunk. It's a grizzly.
Are we gonna die?
I don't know. We're just gonna sit here and listen and watch.
Let's get out of here, maybe.
Fall!